And I had to shoot Amitabh Bachchan, where he's like very sweetly said, you know, the pictures were a little contrasty, they were a little harsh. I say, yeah, I know, they were very harsh.
Welcome to Creative Talkative with Ketki Tewary.
Yeah, we're creative and talkative. There's no stopping this, there's no topping this. Time to explain what's in our veins, what's in our minds. Take a peek into these lives. Yeah, we're creative and talkative. There's no stopping this, there's no topping this.
Today on Creative Talkative, we are getting talkative with Manmeet Bhatti, who has produced outstanding and visually stunning images across advertising, fashion, and fine art. Her work in the field of photography has seen her doing movie stills for some of Bollywood's biggest movies, and she has also been featured in many international magazines and publications. Her pleasant and warm energy spills into our talk on a warm Wednesday afternoon. Hi Manmeet.
Hi.
And welcome to Creative Talkative. You wanted to become a doctor or something?
Oh
like
yes,
Please tell me
I
about
was
this. This is
like
very interesting.
So clear in my school that I am going to be a doctor.
Huh.
And I used to love biology so much that I used to take tuitions also, even though I was like good at it. I didn't need tuition, but I just wanted to study it all the time.
You were in Jalandhar, right?
Yes.
So you were born and brought up in Jalandhar?
No, I was born in Delhi,
Okay.
lived in Bombay, Lonavala.
Okay.
And Jalandhar was my dad's last posting when he was in the Navy.
Oh, he was in the Navy? Oh,
Yes.
alright. Okay.
So then we continued to stay there to finish schooling.
Yeah.
But I was the most happy to just come back to Bombay for college.
So you didn't like it?
Yeah, I think Bombay is the place for me.
But then what made you switch?
So I think just suddenly after my 10th, when 11th, 12th came and I took science, I just kind of lost interest. And I was like, no, I don't want to study so much. And I actually was thinking of interiors, architecture. Actually, you know, surprisingly, my parents, after they decided to let me do what I wanted to do, they never asked me anything, stopped me from anything.
Oh, sweet.
They were just supportive. And I had come away from home. I'd come to Bombay, living in a hostel. But they were never like overly protective. I mean, when I see back, I was like, they actually gave me a lot of freedom.
That's amazing.
And what I wanted to do, even photography, I mean, there was no need to discuss anything. In my 4th year, I went and assisted a photographer. And I was like, chalo, let's just see whatever happens, because obviously I wasn't going to get to shoot. I was just going to help.
Yeah.
So I actually remember cleaning fridge, you know, the tape marks on the fridge. It was a fridge shoot.
Yeah.
So, but it was amazing because I got to see food styling.
Yes.
In the fridge, they had to do like food.
See, that's exactly what I'm saying. We
And
learned from ground
yeah,
zero.
yeah.
You know? So the basics became very strong in that sense.
Like even simple things like he put a some colored cake, like a white or some colored cake. I said, why not chocolate cake? Because you know everybody loves
Yeah.
chocolate. He's like, it's just going to come like a blob of brown. It's not going to show detail. So I was like, yeah, actually, I mean, those little details make a lot of difference.
So then tell me about this picture.
This is actually one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I shot it for an exhibition and I wanted to experiment and try something. And my experimenting is obviously something that I've not really seen around so much and something new for myself. So this is my son, he was probably 3 or 4.
Oh.
And I actually did 3 shoots to finally get this picture.
Okay.
When I started, I wasn't sure which direction I'm going to go. I painted one whole canvas, shot him
Right.
with that. But I knew I wanted to shoot him without clothes. So we used to put a lot of oil on him and, you know, tried various things. And then finally, this was actually a new canvas. I normally use canvases for my backdrops.
Right.
And we shot him on the canvas. He's actually hanging from the canvas. Yeah.
How did
so
you manage
he's
that?
like hanging.
Acha, oh, you shot it
Yeah,
like
and then
that.
we turned
Okay,
it around.
You turned it around.
Yeah, and
lovely.
he's quite a strong kid, so he'll hang and jump
How
and
nice.
climb and finally this turned out to be one of my favorites. And I love the empty space, which is what I had wanted. Like I wanted to shoot something with a lot of
So
negatives.
when you were shooting this, you had this
I
in mind,
had like vaguely कि I want some you know, negative space.
your first shoot, or rather your most
First film shoot, you can say.
Yeah, so
I
you-
did stills for a
did
film.
stills
Come
for
sit.
film,
That was actually my first assignment. Like
Okay.
my first work where I went to shoot for a film.
Right.
And I had to do a look test and I had to shoot Amitabh Bachchan. And
my God.
this was in Yash Chopra's house.
Right.
And I didn't know what lights were there, what the setup was. I just went with my camera and the light was really strong and I just had to make do with whatever equipment was there. But he is such an amazing person. Like for somebody who's a nobody, he was just so supportive and let me shoot, and we did a lot of look tests and all. Then I had to do a second round where he's like very sweetly said, you know, the pictures were a little contrasty, they were a little harsh. I say, yeah, I know they were very harsh light, but now I'm going to come prepared next shoot because that is how it was that time. So the second round went really well because I carried my lights and everything. But I have shot him a lot over the years, and he doesn't care whether you're a big photographer or small photographer, beginner or a professional.
sure.
He will do whatever you ask him to do,
Wow.
which I think is amazing. I actually shot him again for a magazine once, and I had to shoot at his house, and I shot at his front entrance. There are these steps and a huge entrance door, and I say, okay, I want you to sit here and just laugh. You know, now, like for them, probably it's their daily work where they just
Right.
do what they're asked to do.
Right.
But for me, it was like, wow, he's just ready to do whatever I'm
You didn't
asking.
freeze at no point.
There was
did
no
you freeze
time. There's
or-
never time,
There's
or
never time.
you know, you can't really think all that. You just have to focus on your work. After that, I've shot celebrities for advertising and all. But I think for me, the most memorable ones are what I've shot on film sets.
on film sets.
One very distinct memory is of Shah Rukh Khan. We were shooting in New York, in New
Right.
Jersey, and his back was towards the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera, there was a camera movement which comes and, you know, shoot and all. And then
Right.
after it's cut, he turns around, he's like, camera thoda slow ho gaya na. I was like, how do you even know it was behind you? And I just had to ask him, ki, how did you know the camera was slow? It was behind you.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, I just knew it. It was slow. And then another thing which I asked him is, ki, you know, the previous movie you looked so fresh and like charming and all.
Yeah.
In this movie you're looking so haggard when
Yeah.
there's, I mean, for men there's barely any makeup.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know, I just become my character.
Just like how you have explored them visually, I got a chance to explore them through audio, you know. And just like you're saying, you know, like the character, like very often we would have the same actor who would give an interview for his latest release. And then, you know, the same actor would come for another movie, right? There would be a distinct change, like the
Yeah.
good actors, right?
Yeah.
There would be like a distinct change in
Yeah.
their voice. So what I want to ask you is, when you used to be on stills, the sets
Yeah.
and all that. So one is you're shooting for the film, so
yeah.
they are characters.
Yeah.
But then you also shot them.
So
is
I
the-
wanted to shoot them besides the film character basically. I wanted to just shoot them as different people.
Right.
And so I did a lot with Shah Rukh and Rani actually,
Huh.
because they were just always ready to shoot. In fact, one shot where it was super cold, like, and I didn't realize because I was nicely wearing my jackets and all, but Shah Rukh Khan was just wearing a single jacket and no gloves and all. He kept shooting for me, and after a point I realized that he was doing
was
this,
cold.
and I was like, are you
Oh
feeling
my
cold? He said,
God.
yeah, I'm freezing. I was like, okay, we are just stopping right here.
Yeah, the classic,
Yeah.
you know, the girls wearing these chiffon saris in the snow and all that.
Yeah, but
It's so
you know,
cruel,
with
yeah.
them, like, hats off.
Yeah.
It's too cold, it's too hot. They are just doing their job.
Yeah. So this memory chest thing that you were telling me that you've kind of started with, tell me a little more about what it is.
So I just wanted to separate my kids shoot a bit from my other work because after Ayan was born, I did a lot of kids stuff. I just
Sure.
felt that I could understand and connect a bit more with children, and even with parents, like when they are on set for a shoot, like I can somehow connect differently now.
Okay.
And I just somehow manage quite easily where people are scared of shooting babies or handling babies. I just feel very normal about it. Like I don't have to think too much about
fabulous.
shooting children.
So how young has been your, like the tiniest toddler that you have shot has been how
So
old?
I have shot a 10-day-old baby. I think that
Really?
was probably my youngest.
But then they sleep most of the time. Was it easier? Or?
It was very
Yeah.
simple. You can
Yeah.
actually,
Do
place
what you
them
want.
and position them.
Do what you
and-
want with
yeah.
them. Yeah. I'm just inquisitive. So how do you prepare children for a shoot? Do you get them excited or do you get them relaxed?
Actually, with kids, no, you don't have to do much. You just
Okay.
have to put them in an environment that they'll enjoy.
just
They
follow
will
their
just do
energy.
their stuff. You take them on a beach, they'll just start playing with the water and you have some amazing pictures.
There's so much riding, like you said, so much riding on the shoot. The stress level is really high.
Actually, shoot is just that one day,
One
but
day.
that preparation is like really intense because you have to work out every aspect beforehand so that on the shoot day, there is just no scope for anything else but just the shoot. So at times, there have been shoots where I have very little time. If it's a celebrity, they'll give you a time limit.
Yeah.
And which, when the shoot happens, they'll reduce it even further.
Even further. So you have
So
to be
you have to
prepared.
be very
yeah.
prepared, and you still have to do everything that's required. So, and no matter how tricky the shoot is, it has to be like sequenced in a way.
So since I know that you're a very calm person, I'm sure it must be helping, but still it is stressful. So
Yeah.
what is your go-to for stress? How do you handle it? I mean,
I follow Isha Yoga, a movement
safe
that
soil,
she's started. It is something that we all have to look into.
Okay.
It's a very, very crucial thing that we do it right now. Our soil is degrading really badly. It's degenerating. It's becoming sand. So you can imagine what is going to happen in the future if we don't do something about it now.
what is it? Do you listen to your head more or your heart?
I think there has to be a balance, but finally you have to do what your heart says. You stay practical with your brain because you have to discipline yourself in a way.
Yeah.
But you only push your boundaries when you listen to your heart. You only go that extra mile if you listen to your heart. So
What
I
would that
think
mean?
there's one thing that I'm really glad that I followed my dream and I followed what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I feel that one thing I could have done more is just be a little more disciplined in my whole approach, a little more planning. I think that goes a long way, which I've realized now, though I did do whatever, like I could understand. And I don't think I did too badly. But on hindsight, as I've grown older and become more mature, I think discipline goes a long way. Discipline is also more difficult. But yeah, small steps, you can do it. I think that is something that I feel all youngsters should in some way incorporate in their lives.
Let us tell you what we wanna say. Not about just getting paid or achieving fame. It's about the everyday blood, sweat and tears, dreams and fears, everything you gotta hear. Listen, from the first steps to the final leap, making headlines in history. How they did it, it's no mystery. Take a seat, honestly. Yeah, we're creative and talkative. There's no stopping this, there's no topping this. Time for honesty with some novelty. Sit down with KT, you just hit the lottery.
Hope you had as much fun listening as we did talking. Do subscribe for updates on our upcoming episode out every Friday. Like, share and follow us on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram as well as creativetalkative.com. That's creative with a K.